Ladbrokes King George with Richard Hiles.
So lining right up across the course, you can see those first two fences. They'll be ahead of them, and they're fanned right out. They've got about 3 furlongs or so before they'll turn right. 2 fences in a straight line. A hush falls over Kempton. You'll probably hear the crowd roar when they go away. Expectation high here. King George back in front of crowds. Frodon it is who leads them almost at a gallop through the start. That's how fast they're heading off early. Asterion for Longe, Minella Indo right in the firing line in those cheek pieces. Clan des Obeaux is 4th as they arrive at the first of the 18 fences. Minella Indo and Frodon lead them over it. Tornado Flyer. Now that colour change of green and white made a slight mistake. Frodon and Minella Indo are really burning over the first couple of fences. Asterion for Longe races in 3rd with Lost in Translation, Clan des Obeaux and Chantry House effectively making a line of 4. Behind those is Mr. Fisher, then Tornado Flyer, and last of all is St. Calvados. 2 sub 15 second furlongs early on. See how those numbers track out. Basically, if you're going faster than 15, you're trapping along in a 3-mile chase as they turn down the side of the racecourse. And out in the lead, Minella Indo and Frodon are the first 2. They have about a 3 to 4 length lead over Asterion for Longe, Clan des Obeaux and Chantry House. Lost in Translation was with them early on, but has drifted back off that pace with Tornado Flyer, the last 2, Mr. Fisher and St. Calvados. So Frodon has got to the lead. It took a little while to see off the attentions of Minella Indo, but Frodon, getting into that rhythm, is out clear now by 3 to 4 lengths. Minella Indo closed on by Clan des Obeaux and Chantry House, and there you can see the pace has steadied with a 16.5 plus furlong as Frodon's now able to get into this racing rhythm. Watching them all over it, Mr. Fisher and St. Calvados were the last 2. So that was the second of the ditches. Plain fence comes next. Frodon by a length for Bryony Frost, leading Rachel Blackmore and Minella Indo. Big leap in 3rd by Clan des Obeaux in the 2-tone green colours. The grey on the rails is Asterion for Longe, Lost in Translation in the yellow, the blue braces. Racing on the inside of Chantry House in the green and gold hoops, and the back 3 are Tornado Flyer, green and white diamonds, red, green and white for Mr. Fisher, and light blue and red for St. Calvados, who's last of the King George field, who are completely intact as they make their way up the home straight for the first time. Frodon it is who makes that turn first, leading by 2 lengths or so from Minella Indo, Clan des Obeaux, and Asterion for Longe in 4th place, who's jumped nice and straight so far on the inside of Chantry House. Lost in Translation keeps getting on terms with that group and then losing his place. He's back to 6th again with Tornado Flyer, Mr. Fisher and St. Calvados. Frodon popping away out in front. A slight mistake by Mr. Fisher, his 2nd of the race, as Frodon heads down towards the last. So it's Frodon, winner last year, leading Gold Cup winner Minella Indo, and dual winner of the race Clan des Obeaux. Shows how high a quality we have in this particular renewal. Asterion for Longe just restrained there. His rider took a glance to the left, just underneath Clan des Obeaux. The Chantry House, as to the roar of the crowd, they set out on their final circuit, and once again Minella Indo applies a bit of pressure, moves alongside Frodon, and the 2 joust again as they did over the first couple of fences. Asterion for Longe and Clan des Obeaux are 3rd and 4th. Chantry House is in 5th place on the outside of Lost in Translation. Then Tornado Flyer, Mr. Fisher and St. Calvados still kept wide at the rear of the field. Frodon has re-established the lead. Again, it's a couple of lengths over Minella Indo. Keeps moving up, but Frodon finding a little bit more, and Minella Indo just chivied along in 2nd place as Frodon's over the next. Clan des Obeaux, Asterion for Longe, a mistake by Chantry House. Chantry House not going brilliantly at the moment. Green and gold hoops in 6th place. Lost in Translation as Frodon attacks the next fence, jumps it well. Last 2, Mr. Fisher and St. Calvados, and Minella Indo has lost his place quite dramatically as well. Remember, going out on that final circuit, the horse in maroon was alongside Frodon, now back in 5th place as Clan des Obeaux moves through into 2nd. So Paul Nicholls has the first 2. Asterion for Longe, Lost in Translation, and between that pair is Minella Indo. Tornado Flyer from Mr. Fisher. Chantry House continues to drift back in the field, green and gold hoops, but they are very tightly grouped here as they turn now down the back straight. There are 7 fences to take in the Ladbrokes King George. Frodon out in the lead. Clan des Obeaux, the dark cheek pieces, then Asterion for Longe. Minella Indo jumps back up into into third. Chantry House makes a mistake, and Chantry House is being pulled up. Chantry House had been struggling for the last quarter mile. One mistake too many, and he's pulled up after the 12th. Frodon in the lead. Clan des Obeaux, Tornado Flyer gets closer, green and white. So does St Calvados on the outside. Manila Indo continuing to flick on and off the bridle, is dropping back through the field swiftly as Frodon heads them towards the 5th last. Clan des Obeaux second, St Calvados on the outside. Paul Nichols, the 1, 2, 3. Asterion Forlonge on the inside of Tornado Flyer, then Mr Fisher, and Manila Indo can't give with them. St Calvados, a big leap, takes it up in the King George, and now they make the turn for home. St Calvados from Clan des Obeaux. Frodon just a bit short of room, had to be switched in third. Tornado Flyer takes that position now as they head around the home turn. St Calvados, his stamina now will be the question. Leads from Clan des Obeaux, Tornado Flyer and Asterion Forlonge ghosting into contention in fourth, then Frodon, and the King George concerns 5 as they race towards the 3rd last. St Calvados and Clan des Obeaux lead over it from Asterion Forlonge, then behind these Tornado Flyer, and it's Clan des Obeaux who finds more going to the 2nd last. Tornado Flyer down the outside for Danny Mullins, throws down the challenge. Clan des Obeaux and Tornado Flyer from Asterion Forlonge, and it's Tornado Flyer who moves through to the lead, pursued by his stable companion Asterion Forlonge, then Clan des Obeaux heading down towards the final fence in the King George. It's Tornado Flyer from Asterion Forlonge who lands steeply and falls when in second, but it's Tornado Flyer who is coming home clear to land the Ladbrokes King George for Danny and Willie Mullins. Tornado Flyer beat Clan des Obeaux, St Calvados in 3rd place, then behind these was Frodon, lost in translation. Asterion Forlonge is up on his feet okay. When he gets tired, he just can't find a leg. He's fine, his rider's okay as well, Brian Cooper. Mixed fortunes for the Willie Mullins horses at the final fence, but